What is up, YouTube? Welcome to another vlog. It's coffee time. I'm going to try something new in this vlog. My thinking is to start from zero, so no lines of code, just a editor and a terminal. And we're going to write some code and deploy it straight into Kubernetes. And I'm going to take you through the journey and the steps of how to go from zero code to Kubernetes. So without further ado, let's go. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is create a new folder. Now I like to keep my source code separate from my infrastructure and dependencies. So I create a source folder, and then inside here we're going to do a new Python server, web server.py. So this is going to be our Python file. And then we're also going to create a new file called requirements.txt. And this is simply going to define all our requirements that we want to pip install. In my example, I'm going to install a Flask web server. So in my requirements.txt, I specify I want this version of Flask. And then in my server.py, I'm going to write some basic Python code saying that I want to import the Flask library and I want to create an application called Flask. And then what I want to go ahead and do is define a route. So I'm just going to create a hello world application and define a route. So when anyone comes to this path in the browser, it's going to return hello world. Now we have some Python code, we have our requirements, we're ready to run pip install, but we don't have Python installed. So what now? Now we're going to install Docker instead. I'm going to Google, I search for Docker for Windows 10, and then I say install Docker for Windows. Then I download from Docker Hub. So you have to create an account as well. So you want to sign in and go ahead and download the exe. So once you have installed it, you'll find it in your system tray. So you can see I have Docker Desktop Community Edition. It's completely free. And then the next thing I'm going to want to do is go over to the settings and just search for shared drives, and then share your C drive or whatever drive it is that you're working with. My source code is in C, so I'm going to go ahead and share that with Docker. This will allow us to create a volume mount and mount our code into the container. What we want to do next is, outside of the source folder, create a new file called Docker file. And here we're going to define all our infrastructure dependencies to basically that makes up this Python environment. So we'll want to start with a base image, just running Python 3.7, and I'm going to choose Alpine as a very lightweight Linux distribution. And what we want to do next is just say mkdir, and we're just going to create a working directory, or let's put like app maybe as a folder. And then what we want to do is set that to our working directory. So we will do everything inside of this app folder. Then we'll want to create another line called copy. We want to copy in our requirements.txt that's in our source folder into the application, and we want to copy it into this working directory so that it is ready for us. And then what we'll want to do is say run, and we say pip install -r, and because work directory is /app, we can just call this guy straight up from there. So the next thing we're going to want to do is copy our source code into the container as well. So I'm going to say copy, and I'm going to say /src where our source code is, and I'm going to copy that whole folder into here. So I'm just going to say /app, and then what we want to do is start up Flask. So create an environment variable, just say Flask app equals server.py. And then the last bit that we want to do is just create a startup command. So how do we start our app? So we say Flask run, and we want to pass in a host, so 0.0.0.0 and -p is going to be port 5000 for this example. Now to build this, I don't want to do like Docker build commands and do all of that stuff. I want to make things really simple. So what I'm going to do is create another file, and I'm going to create a Docker compose file. docker compose.yaml, and in here we're going to basically define how to build and run this application. So what I'm going to do is create a docker compose, and I'm going to run version 3.4, and then I'm going to define some services, and we're going to go and define our Python service. And the first thing we want to do is create a container name for this, and I'm just going to call it Python. And then next up we'll want to create an image, and I'm just going to create this image under my Docker Hub repository. I'm just going to call it Python version 1. And then last but not least, I want to define some ports to expose. So in this example, I'm just going to expose 5,000 on the host and 5,000 inside of the container. Now to build this, we're going to have to provide a build context. So I'm just going to create build, and under this I'm going to create a context, and my context is just going to be dot. That's basically where to find the Docker file and the source code and everything. So then you want to open up a terminal, make sure you're in the Python folder, and then what we want to do is say docker compose build and then Python. This will go ahead and run docker build our image, and tag it with the name we put inside the image name over here. And this is why I use Docker Compose, because nobody needs any special instructions on how to run it. All your volume mounts, environment variables, everything can be defined in here. So all we need to do is say Docker Compose up Python, and that'll go ahead and start up our application. We can go over to the browser, localhost 5000, and we have hit our app. So we successfully created an app, wrote some Python code, we've Dockerized it, and now we're going to put it into Kubernetes. So in order to start with Kubernetes, we're going to need kubectl, or the command line for Kubernetes. So go ahead and Google that. You'll find install and setup instructions right here. So we're going to jump ahead to this and then go down to install kubectl on Windows. And you're going to want to go ahead and download this binary. So after you've downloaded the kubectl.exe, you want to make sure that you put it into a folder and add it to your path environment variable, because Docker for Windows adds its own version to the path. So you want to make sure you override that one. So what I've done is I've gone ahead to my environment variables, I've gone to my path, and if we double click this, you can see I have put mine into my C drive folder. I created a kubectl folder and put it over there. And that means now I can go into my command line and I can run kubectl. So with that installed, I can go to the command line, I can type kubectl --help, and we should see the help text print out. So everything is installed, all good to go. And the next thing you're going to want to do is go over to your system tray, open the Docker settings, and go down to this Kubernetes section. You're going to want to make sure you have at least the correct version of Docker for Windows to have this Kubernetes feature, and you're going to want to go ahead and enable Kubernetes and click the apply button. Once that is installed, to test whether it works or not, you say kubectl get nodes, and you should see Docker for desktop comes back as your single node Kubernetes cluster. Now before we start with Kubernetes, we're going to want to make sure we push our image to the Docker registry. So in my case, I'm using Docker Hub, so I'm going to go ahead and run Docker Compose push, and this will take a while to push up to the registry, and Kubernetes will be able to download the image and run it. Let's start off with the deployment. So I want to go ahead and again keep these files separate so that they're very self-explanatory. Create a new folder called Kubernetes, and inside of the Kubernetes folder I'm going to create a new folder called deployments, and inside of that we'll create a deployment.yaml file, and this will define our desired state so that Kubernetes can go ahead and deploy this and keep this application up and running and healthy for us. So the first thing we're going to want to go ahead and do is define our deployment object. So we say the type is deployment, and we're going to give our application some labels, and in this case I'm going to say example app. So I'm going to label my application with a label called app, and that the name of the app is going to be example application. And then I'm going to write a couple more things that's required by Kubernetes. The deployment spec has a selector to match the labels, so our pods are going to have labels on them as well to say example app, and this is Kubernetes' way of linking our pods with the deployment. So what we're going to want to go ahead and do now is say on our spec we want replicas 2, so we want 2 pods to be created for us. This way Kubernetes will as part of the deployment, roll out 2 instances of our application. We also want to go with a rolling upgrade strategy style deployment. So whenever we change a version of our application, Kubernetes will always make sure that there's one application up and running. It'll do a rolling update style deployment, so it'll create new ones before killing off the old one. And then what we're going to want to do is start up the pod spec. So over here we say spec, and inside a pod you can run multiple containers. So what we want to do is define what our container looks like over here, and this is basically just an array. So we'll give it a name, and the name will be example app. This will be the name of our pod, and then we'll go and define a bunch of things about our pod that's similar to our Docker Compose file. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do here is define that we want the image installed. So we're gonna run our Python image, and then we say image pull policy always. This tells Kubernetes to always pull the latest version of the image. You can also change it to only pull the cached version. And then what we're gonna want to do is define a port. So we again say ports, and then we want to listen on port 5000. So port 5000 is the one we want to expose out to the public. Now next up, I'm going to go ahead and put some resource constraints. So we want to put a resource block to basically tell Kubernetes how much resources we need. So we're going to say we at least need 64 megs of RAM, and we need at least 50 millicores of CPU. And then we define our upper limits to make sure we don't become noisy neighbors with other applications inside the Kubernetes cluster. So this is really useful, and Kubernetes will automatically restart our application if we breach this memory limit. And now that we've defined our deployment YAML, what we're going to want to do is say kubectl apply -f Kubernetes folder, deployments folder, and we want to go ahead and apply that deployment YAML file. So if I do that, we'll see deployments got created. And if we do kubectl get deploy, we can see we have 2 out of 2 of our application up and running. And if we do kubectl get pods, we should see 2 of our pods up and running. We can see they're all good to go. Now, in order to enable network traffic for and load balancing for these pods, we're going to go ahead and create a new folder under Kubernetes called services. And then what we want to do is create a new file called service.yaml. And this is going to allow us to define a service, which is basically describing how Kubernetes should expose and load balance these applications. So to create a service, what we're going to do is say new kind service. It's a Kubernetes service object, and we're going to define some metadata, which is just a name. So we're going to give it a name, example service. That'll create a DNS entry inside the cluster for the service. And what we're going to want to do next is create our spec. And this is where Kubernetes has a concept of label selectors. So we specify that we want this service to select all pods that has this label on it. And that'll allow Kubernetes to create the routing rules underneath the hood to support this. And what we'll do as well is say we want to expose port 80 to map to 5000. So it'll expose port 80 to the outside world, and that'll link through to the container port 5000. And the last thing we want to do is to make the service public. We're going to say type equals load balancer. And this will create a load balancer with an external facing IP, so we can actually connect from the outside. Now to create the service, we're going to want to say kubectl apply, and in the Kubernetes folder, services folder, we want to apply the service YAML that we just created. That will tell Kubernetes to go ahead and create the service. And when we say get services, you can see our example service is created. Type load balancer means that if this is running in the cloud, Kubernetes will try and create a load balancer for that cloud provider. Now, given that we're running on a local machine, our external IP is going to be localhost because we don't have any load balancer running. So that being said, what we can now do is we can go ahead to localhost in the browser, and we've hit our application. So now our application is live, running inside Kubernetes, exposed through a load balancer. And yeah, that's all good, easy. So hopefully this helps demonstrate to you how super simple it is to go from writing a line of code to containerizing it and to push it into Kubernetes. Now, if you're interested, there's a link in the description below to a playlist where I actually go through all the concepts of Kubernetes from installation all the way through to deployments using the command line, service discovery, and so forth. So if you're interested, feel free to go and check that out. And hopefully this was useful. Like and subscribe, and until next time, peace.